Good morning to all. I'm Shanti Priya, HOD CAI and AML, and I'm IAC. Let me welcome our
Morning, all the participants. So, on behalf of Salapati Institute of Technology, Iic Association, I invite all the participants to this session. Today's resource person is Dr. Bhavin Shah. He is working as an head of the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai. He has 11 years of teaching experience and 5 years of industry experience. He has published 30 papers in international journals and 10 papers in international conferences. His expertise includes robotics, automation, microprocessors, circuit theory and networks, cybersecurity and laws, etc. He is working as a coordinator and team member of Atharva Robotics Center, ARIA coordinator and team member of Atharva ICEL. He and his team secured second rank in the Global Entrepreneurship Exchange 2020 Idea Pitch Contest and secured third rank in Global Entrepreneurship Exchange 2021 Idea Pitch Contest organized by University of Massachusetts, USA and IUC EE connected activity. He has been selected as an Innovation Ambassador of IIC, Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our request and coming as a resource person for this session. Over to you, sir. Sir, voice clarity is not yet, sir. Oh, sir, your voice is not audible, sir. Sir, there is some problem with your mic, I think, sir.
Hello.
Sir,
Hello.
now it is audible, sir.
Is my
Yes,
am I
sir.
audible, sir?
Yes. Now it is audible, sir.
Okay. Seems to be some technical issues.
Okay.
Thank you for acknowledging. So I'll start again. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for such a warm introduction. It's been an honor to address this early morning today on a topic of much importance. I would like to thank Principal Chalapatti Institute of Technology, Professor Kiran Kumar, sir, for inviting me for this wonderful session for today. The host and convener for today's session, HOD CSE, and all warm welcome to all the dear participants, faculty colleagues who had connected today this early morning for the session. I'm now sharing my screen, sir.
Okay, sir.
Just acknowledge if the full screen is visible.
It says screen sharing has been started, sir.
Could you see the PowerPoint?
No, sir.
Uh,
Maybe it will take a couple of minutes.
just a moment.
Sir, it says that screen share has started.
Screen share has started, but it is coming blank.
Sir, can you close it and again share it, sir?
I'll just try to stop the webcam and try it again. Just hold on. Is the screen visible now?
Sir, it is not coming, sir. It is saying that Dr. Bhavin Shah, Agarwal College of Engineering, Mumbai has started screen sharing.
I've connected to one more machine. I could also see that it's showing blank, but I'm sharing. I've shared the entire screen. Do I need to share as a window?
Sir?
Just hold on. I'll try with something else. Maybe I try with a window and it may happen.
Everything is okay, sir. Everything is okay, sir. You can share it.
Could you check now, sir? Is it visible?
No, sir. Screen is not visible, sir.
Screen is... So is it now visible? If I'm sharing a Chrome
Sir,
tab?
1 minute, sir. I'm checking, sir. 1 minute, sir. Sir, actually, again, it is saying that started screen sharing. I have sent you the image, sir, to your WhatsApp number.
I'll just check, sir. I'll just check.
Sir, can you send that PPT to me, sir, so that I can share it, sir?
Okay, it's coming as a blank screen. I guess there's some issue. So could you give me a few moments? I'll just call my IT person, or
Okay,
maybe I'll
sir.
just try with the another system.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. No issue.
Just 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
So
No
sorry
problem.
for the issues.
No problem, sir.
Because now I'm sharing from Drive, and so it is not coming it out. Your screen sharing has started.
Sir, now it is visible, sir.
Sir, hope the screen is visible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for acknowledging, and so sorry for the trouble. We were facing some technical issues over here. Yeah. Yeah. So once again, a very warm welcome to all my dear participants, faculty colleagues, and everyone who has joined today for this session on lean startup and minimum viable product or business. My sincere apologies for the technical issues that happened because of some setting issues into the Zooms. Hopefully we were having the IT persons who would help me out for resolving it out. Now we'll be beginning with the session where we're talking about lean startup and minimum viable product and business. There's a need of an hour. To begin with something, you require at least a basic form of idea. And then you have two approaches to it. One is you build around a strong business model which goes on in a stringent manner, satisfying many aspects of the business model canvas, keeping it discreet amongst the working team, and finally launching it out. When we talk about lean startup, it is not designed around over a strong model. And when we talk about minimum viable product, of course, the planning is there, but it is the most rudimentary form that a product could be launched, which is tangible enough to launch in a market. And then learning from the experiences, reviewing it out, experimenting the things, and working around BML, build, measure, and learn. The changes could be done. Let's just begin with what is lean startup means. The lean startup is all about starting up by experimenting, testing, and iterating while developing the product based on findings. It is a method that you could use to found a new company or introduce a product on behalf of a pre-existing company, which is opposing a business model canvas, wherein you require to be innovative into such particular regards. What is the goal of lean startup? The whole idea is to get rid of wasteful practices during the initial stages of a company and to garner success without requiring high amounts of funding, comprehensive business plans, or a product that has no flaws. And this is achieved by obtaining customers' feedback on the initial products and making changes and having a provision to allow changes and improving over a period of time as per the review and wishes of the customers and learning from their feedback. It is a methodology aimed at using the lowest amount of resources possible. The entire lean startup is designed around gagging the customer's interest in the product and determining how the product might need to be refined based on the inputs that are being received. And this is not sufficient because the process needs to be gone through a validated learning. And this provides a provision of if any idea needs to be failed or is likely to be failed, it should fail quickly and cheaply instead of you are wasting on the idea slowly and expensively. Henceforth, lean startup has the terminology that is, if it has to fail, fail fast, which is again opposing to the business model canvas, which takes time, which is designed around a pre-planned processes along the terminologies and ideas, a well-learned business model to be pitched out, which takes time and which requires extensive fundings. And of course, over a period of time, it needs to grow. But if it unfortunately fails, it fails at a period wherein you had already consumed a lot of time and the funding aspects were more than what it was been expected to fall. Henceforth, lean startup is the most leanest manner of launching a product. And if there is something that could likely to be failed, it would fail fast with minimum amount of expenses onto the pockets. Hence the term fail fast. Let us now look around the characteristics of a lean startup. It allows you to develop a product based on the desires of the market. Please note, my friend, if there is no need of any product in the market and you are launching something which the market does not need, of course, it is going to fail. Let me get you through a good example onto this. Today, there are many potato chips companies already pre-existing in the market. But at the same time, if someone thinks around to open and introduce one more potato chip product in the market, there is a space. There is a market that may exist for that product because the market is too huge that even if there is one more new company introduced, it can give space to it. But it has its own challenges. Just to launch a product in the market would not suffice you or would not definitely provide you the resources that you need to target on. If the product is competing with the pre-existing product, there should be something which is distinguishing your product. For example, the classic salted was the most liked flavors amongst the people. But yes, there are flavors available from different companies which targets on peri-peri, barbecue, masala, onion and cheese, cream, chutney pudina, jeera, tikka masala, and whatnot. Why such flavors are required in the market? Because the customer's taste, need and needs changes over a period of time. If you do not have the variety to offer, they may switch on to some another brand. And once the customer switches to some another brand, it is really very much difficult to bring them back to the brand. At the same time, your SaaS, that is the client acquisition cost that you have spent to bring that customer to trust on your product, is wasted. Then comes validated learnings. You might have seen, my dear friends, before the launch of some certain products at various places and malls, there are pop-up kiosks that are being set, which offers free samples for testing. Are they really selling it for free? Of course, it is a free, but that free is in terms of learning the customer's reaction, how the customer is liking the product before it is actually launched. Even many a times it has been observed that post-launching, for the product market publicity, people used to offer free samples so that the customer can get the taste of that product and can increase the demand in the market. Then comes the product popularity and the lifetime of customer value. My dear friends, this is the most important when you talk about. As already discussed, the customer's needs may change over a period of time. It may happen that a customer who is presently consuming classic salted product may demand for some other flavors. And if you do not have something distinguishing to offer, you may lose upon the customer's interest onto that product. And finally, we come to a minimum viable product to assess the reaction that the customer have to the product once launched. And the whole idea is experimenting over the product, which is opposed to sticking to a strict plan of the business model canvas. Lean startup gives you a flexibility of learning the market and changing as per the needs of the market. Henceforth, the term experimentation is favored. Let us now look after what are the requirements of the lean startup. We already discussed, my dear friends, experimentation to be more valued than detailed planning, which a business model requires to run around maybe a 5 years or more plan to work upon, which is opposing the business model canvas, wherein the challenge is the customer reaction, which is paramount in the lean startup. The lean startup is all focused on the hypotheses that are tested rapidly and the launch of a product that is just sufficient, which is tangible enough to be launched and learning around it. And if it needs to fail with a limit in losses or without ignoring much of the aspects, you may definitely come out with a new product, the changed product, post learning the hypothesis and the customer's need. Hence the term, failure is the rule, but not the exception. Because you are learning through experimentations, you are learning through reactions, you are learning the needs, you are changing as per the needs. It is also important that you engage with potential customers, purchasers, and the partners to gauge reactions about the product feature, pricing, distribution, and customer acquisition. It is all about finding a problem that needs to be solved and to be solved in a unique manner which no one in the market is solving it out. If someone who is your competitor is already offering something good, no one would be interested in your product. When we talk about lean startup, competitiveness needs to be focused, would be a challenge, and needs to be overcome through unique ideas and the value proposition of your product, which is distinguishing and which is effective over the market competitions. And at the same time, lean startup focuses on a business model which is scalable over a period of time and which is fast to execute it out. Now, let us see what is the difference between a lean startup versus a traditional business, also known as a business model. The premier difference that we are talking from start is time. The business model canvas is whole depending on a pre-planned, focused product development, which is discrete and built around a 5-year or more planned source to be launched in the market. Whereas lean startup is just the minimum point wherein you could start think about the business idea or venture, get into the market with some ideas, and with a MVP, that is a minimum viable product which is tangible enough, learn from the market feedbacks from the potential customers and adjust your ideas and make any change so as to meet the market needs. When we talk about lean startup, it's all designed around BML. Build, measure, learn. When we talk about build, measure, learn, it means that your product should have enough features to keep the customer satisfied when it is launched in the market. While you are testing that, the product can be successful on the market, but it needs to be learned. And feedbacks across the demographics about the market needs to be analyzed. When you talk about measure, this is a term that you should precisely work upon. Providing unnecessary surveys may not only help but may take you to the wrong lead. So it is important that what you are analyzing, what is the survey that you are carrying upon, and fine-tune your ideas to make your product more feature-rich after learning and analyzing the things. And this could only happen by measuring the things and getting the proper analytics of what is actually going wrong. To highlight upon, let me take one example, which is not an example of lean startup, but just to understand it out. There were times that within Mumbai, the luxury car manufacturers opened their showrooms towards each part of the city. Let's say it be north, south, east, west. There were showrooms, there were tie-ups with multi-brand showrooms, own partner showrooms, partner showrooms. Ample of franchises were being sold off. Of lately, it was realized that the sales that needs to be run out is not working. It may have happened that the product is really having some fault, but it is not always true. It may happen the market does not need where you are trying to sell. This is the other part of the scenario. If you are launching a showroom wherein the market segments are the customers who are generally middle class, who cannot afford to buy a car which starts 25 lakh and above, a market that is a market wherein the customers who are within a range of 2 to 10 lakh rupees, and you are offering a product in such market wherein your product starts from 25 lakh plus, no one is going to purchase your product. There would be no sale. And over a period of time, you may burn around the losses that you are incurring on opening of the showrooms, hiring employees, marketing, publicity, and whatnot. And this is where the luxury car manufacturers learned that my sale is targeted and limited towards South Bombay, wherein we have customers who can afford 25 lakh plus, and there is a market for luxury cars, rather than opening everywhere. And then the call was being taken, and then they had showrooms only in South Bombay and the limited showroom, that too not the own showroom but a multi-brand showroom at few places, just because there was no market. No, just because to keep the market aware about the brand. Even if there is one sale over a crore of population, it is good enough for them. The reason is they just wanted that name to be on the mouth of people so that the brand value could not get damaged. And this is all we talk about, how we can measure it out in the lean startup. To understand whether the product is wrong or the market is wrong. This needs to be learned very carefully, because when you talk about measuring, the measuring should learn about various parameters and across the demographics. It is not always true that there is a flaw in a product. It may happen the targeted market may also be wrong in some of the cases. Post measuring, you need to learn well about the feedback that has been received. And it's not an easy task. We just took an example about the sale. Many a times asking unwanted questions may take you to no lead, and it may not help you in building your product over a long period. Selection of questions during the measuring period is utmost important, followed by a proper learning of the same. And this keeps on iterating and repeating throughout the product life cycle. Lean startup is all focused upon BML. It might happen today a customer is liking one flavor, tomorrow it may not be true. You may have to adjust your product accordingly. You may have to bring some different flavors in the market periodically so that the customers may stay intact with your product. And that's the need of an art. Finally, we talk about what is a minimum viable product and how you can build a minimum viable product. What does this MVP stands for? M, minimum, the most rudimentary bare bones foundation of the solution possible. V, that is viable, that is sufficient enough for the early adopters. And P, that is the product, that is something tangible that you can touch and feel. And together it forms a MVP, known to as minimum viable product, which is tangible enough and sufficient enough to launch in the market in the most rudimentary manner and learn around. But before doing that, you need to definitely ask yourself a question, that who is your customers?
What product do they actually want? And is the product that you are launching around is forming towards a scalable business around it? If your business ideas are not scalable enough, there is no meaning of launching any product in the market. You may end up burning into losses. And for which the following points are much essential. That begins from the most important aspects, that is the market research. Prior to launch, study the market. Who are your competitors? Is some similar product available in the market? If yes, how my product is distinguishing? Translate the research into product or service that you are going to offer. With a most rudimentary form of the MVP, and create a prototype. It may be a sketch, PPT, CAD drawings, 3D print, or even a video. You may try around the feedback, getting a feedback of the customers through various means. You might have seen nowadays e-commerce are using this at the most. Before a launch of smartphones today, you might see some fancy advertisements on the e-commerce website that so and so brand is launching so and so smartphone. What are the features that you are looking for? And they give you a certain form. Actually, it is not launched. They are learning what are the requirements of a customer. What are the premier features that a customer is looking towards the product that is going to be launched. And to get an idea of what should be the bare minimum cost that a customer is going to pay me. Even if my product is feature rich, but the pricings are not proper, no one is going to pay or no one is going to buy. And even if you offer something as a value added, which is the most prioritized marketing strategies. You might have heard about all these schemes in the market. Buy one, get one free, buy two, get one free, buy three, get two free, so far and so forth. May not help you. You may or may not succeed with such marketing ideas. The whole idea of having buy one, get one or buy one, get two, especially for the FMCGs, is to get the customer accustomed with the flavors of your product and to increase the sale at an instant. But it comes with its own challenges. What if the customer does not turn around and come back? So if you do not succeed in bringing the customer back to your product, that is a loss. And such ideas are really risky, especially when you talk about early stage startups, wherein you are running low on your cash or having funding issues. And even if you have a strong funding, it is not advisable. Rather, it is advisable that the price of the product should be that much right that at least you may not end up turning losses. And that's the most important thing when you are designing anything around. To understand it in a more efficient way, we can look around for simple steps That is, start with the market research, ideate on the value addition, map out user flows, prioritize your minimum viable product features, launch the minimum viable product, and exercise, build, measure, learn. When we talk about the very first point of the simple, that is start with market research. It is all focused on ensuring that at least the idea that you are working upon fulfills the need of the market and the target customers. And there's a quote by author W. Edwards. It's not enough to do your best. You must know what to do and then do your best. If you research around directionless, you may end up launching a product which no one needs. You must first learn what is the need. Is the market existing? And then work around. Once the research is done, it's all about working on idea and adding up to the value addition to the market with the product which is feature rich and is adding value in the market. And you must definitely ask yourself the following questions. What value does your new product offers to the users? Is the product that you are planning to launch beneficial to the customers? And why would they buy your product if the similar product is available already in the market? For the customers to purchase your product, it needs to be distinguished and a value proposition should be there which can survive your product in the competitiveness. The third part of the simple, that is M, which focuses on mapping out the user flows. The design process in the MVP is very vital. And you need to design around in a way which is convenient for your users. And defining that which is necessary to determine the stages of your process. Once you have followed out a proper process and procedures of various stages, you may define around a feature and build it around the product value that you are looking for, a feature rich, which may be focused towards the customers, target customers, and is built around a convenient way for the customers to use. The fourth most important point of the simple, that is P, prioritize minimum viable product features. We already are speaking about BML, build, measure, and learn. And when we talk about MVP, it's all about learning and prioritizing the minimum features that a product needs to sustain in the market and to have the customer's faith onto that particular product. The brand itself may not help you out to survive in the market. A brand name may help you for the sale of the initial sale of the product. But if the product is not to the mark, you may fail making losses. Steve Jobs was out of his job because of avoiding the stage of prototyping while building the Apple Lisa. The result was a disaster as he failed to achieve a good number of sales. The problem was not in the product, the problem was the usabilities of the product, which was not learned well. Even the big giants had made losses learning properly and launching the product which is not user friendly or which is not having features that the customers are requiring. So it is really very much essential to prioritize what are the features that the customers are requiring and adjusting your product on high priority, medium priority or low priority based on the feedback received and working towards the product life cycle and keep on improving it out based on the market needs. Launching an MVP. When you talk about MVP, there is a myth in the market that MVP is not a final product. No, it is not exactly the true term. MVP is no less quality than your final product. The main thing that you focus on MVP is how to fulfill the customer's need in the most rudimentary manner without burning out much of your expenses. And at the same time, ensuring that it is easy to use, it's engaging the customers and it is suitable for the customers. There is a saying by Dan Olen, the author of the Lean Product Playbook. The main reason why products fail is that they don't meet customers' need in a way that is better than other alternatives available in the market. Henceforth, step 1, start with market research, learn it and do the most of it so as you can learn the market well prior to the launch of your product. When in business, you have no options. Competition is a part of business, but it comes with its own opportunities. And this is where we talk about I, M, and P, which helps you out build around a product which adds value to the market. And finally, we already discussed around once in market, it's all built around BML. And you need to keep on iterating on this. That is exercising build, measure, learn. Through build, measure, learn, you may be able to test the various stages by carrying out quality assurance to improve the quality of your product. Launching an MVP and going back and iterating what is going wrong, or is there a chance of improving the product even if there is nothing wrong, by taking regular feedbacks from the clients or the customers and determining acceptance and competitiveness of the goods in the markets based on the comments that has been received. And if this has been done properly, the product life cycle increases and may sustain and create a brand in the market. Henceforth, this is the most vital step after the launch of a minimum viable product. How to measure a success after building an MVP? You could see a diagram in front of your screens, which shows the whole process from pointer number 1 to pointer number 9. That is word of mouth to engagement to sign up to better client appraisals to percentage of active users to SaaS to number of paying users to client lifetime value to churn rate. We'll discuss it one by one. What is word of mouth? It happens with beginning with by listening or listing the problems a customer is facing or is likely to face, and then ask what they think around. This can be done in various manners. It can be through interviewing, through feedback, or through forums. Are you aware, my dear friends, even if today social media is so much strong, but then still many brands have their own forums, which helps them out learn the product post sale, because the customers add their reviews on that forum. If any customer is facing some difficulties, they post out there. If someone has the solution, they reply to that forum, so far and so forth. Even there is an open forum in the market, Quora, wherein people used to post various questions, and the one who is having the knowledge provides an appropriate solution to it. So this gives you an upper edge of how the customers can learn the challenges of the product. Can they rectify on their own, or is there a serious issue that the company should think around and come up with a solution? Then comes engagement. This is the most important thing that you could do, which will add the value to the product, which may build around and add a value for the future market and help to improve the user experience based on the feedback. If you are not able to engage the target audience to your product, it may affect you at point number 6, that is CAC, client acquisition cost. Engagement is much needed. If to highlight upon this, you might have seen many advertisements, and we just spoke about how the advertisement begins on the e-commerce. So if I'm launching or I'm about to launch a product, if I have just launched a sponsored ad on any of the e-commerce platform, I can learn about what are the needs of the market. And I could learn around how is the engagement of my product. The pre-book schemes that are running out in the market are not efficient enough to launch the market. But the pre-book is to know what is the actual needs of the market. For example, if I launch 1 lakh products and I expect that it should go in a flash and it does not turn around, I may end up making losses because I was not able to sell the products, and I've burned around building that much amount of product which is not able to get sold in the market. At the same time, if I launch a product with minimum quantity, but the market need is high and I'm not able to fulfill the market, that is also an issue. So by having this offer of pre-booking, you are able to learn the engagements, and at least you are sure of that these are the minimum number of quantities that are going to get sold on the market on launch. That means you are sure enough about your quantity. Then comes sign up, which is a feasible way to gauge the user's interest and convert revenue based on measuring the interest in the product. After posting an advertisement, if no one pre-books or sign-ups to your product, it's a high time to learn what is the need of the market. And you are fortunate enough to receive that minimum number of sign-ups. You need to fulfill it at the time of launch. Then comes better client appraisals based on the feedback. This especially becomes essential when you are talking somewhere around software or app launch, which works upon number of downloads and launch rates that shows the user's interest onto that particular app or the software. You might have seen a category onto the App Store. At the time of downloading any software, it shows you one circled figure that shows 4.1K downloads, 1 million plus downloads. This really helps for creating a brand value as well as marketing a product without spending a penny. Because the more the product is marketed through word of mouth and through downloads, the people gets attracted. But the latter part is also true. Just the download may not help you out because it may affect you at point number 8, that is the client lifetime value. We now discuss about percentage of active users. The download and launch rates are one part of it. But it is also essential to study post download, are they active on my app? If post download no one is opening my app, I may lose upon the interest of the customers and they may switch on to some another app. Henceforth, e-commerce giants always comes around with some mouth-watering offers periodically, around 3 months, 6 months, so far and so forth. And one of their schemes now, which all the e-commerce platforms target around, is during the period of day 1 of the month to day 10 of the month. And they term this marketing strategy as payday sale, because they know the salaries are getting credited at the first week of every month. And this is where a customer is likely to spend. And this is the right time to target them to attract towards our platform so that we can increase our sales. Then comes CAC, that is client acquisition cost. This is the money spent on traction channels by the number of customers acquired through that channel. And this needs to be well understood. If you are burning too much of money on acquiring a client more than generating the profits, and then the later part is not working and you do not have repeated customers to your product, you may end up making losses. So this needs to be learned carefully. Spending each and every penny needs to be watched mindfully, especially when it's about client acquisition cost. It may happen that you are burning your money wherein there is no market, and you are burning money on your marketing and publicity strategies, which was not needed. Mindful strategies are really a need of an hour, even if you are having too much of funding or you are having lack of funding. Simply burning around the money may not help you out for the product and the business to sustain in the market. Then comes the 7th point, that is number of paying users. And this is calculated based on ARPU, that is average revenue per user, and keeping a track of it. And ARPU is measured based on the total income of the day and age by the number of active users. And this is where Jio had come up with the idea in the market. Its 4G platform was all designed around ARPU. Rather than offering high-end packets, a different pack for call, a different type pack for SMS, a different pack for data. They worked on a single pack which would offer all, but they targeted on average revenue per user. If the number of users are more generally, and if the offerings are best, I may earn around ARPU. But if the product cost is too high and the customers are too low, I may end around making the losses. So this needs to be learned carefully and worked around. Product pricing is a crucial part. Even if the product is too good to be launched in the market, pricing plays a vital role. Then comes client lifetime value, which is measured around profit from a user into product usage duration, subtracting the acquisition cost. It may happen that the client may move around from one brand to another, especially when you talk about software and apps. Of course, your app is too good, but there are many others who are launching app and they may attract users' engagement. And if not worked around, the client lifetime value would be limited. Client may switch. We just took an example of Jio. There were many Fortune companies in the market prior to the competition by Jio in the market, who are ruling and dominating the market. They were termed out to be the best in the market, but it was a nightmare after there was a huge competition wherein the ARPU was worked. And finally, even the big giants has to come around and work around a business model that was working around ARPU. Even the big giants who was having reputation in the market end up making losses and losing the customers. Because if your product has nothing to offer and add value to the customers, you may end up making losses and you may end up losing your customers. And this is the whole client lifetime value. And finally is the churn rate, which shows the level of percentage of people who may have stopped using your product or may have uninstalled your app. This may be found out by number of churns per week or month based upon the number of users during the beginning of the week or the month. The e-commerce giants runs did very well, and this is why they run this payday sale. Because if no one opens their app or there is no purchase during that period of the sale, or their sale is less, they may learn around what is really going wrong. And they are losing upon the customers that they have acquired because they are not able to provide that offerings to the customers. And they have switched on to some another brand. And this needs to be monitored very well. The churn rate may be one of the reasons, if not monitored properly, your business idea may end up making losses. If been monitored properly, appropriate adjustment in the business, pricing and various other factors could be done to safeguard your product and to build around and get good engagement and sign up, followed by a better CLV for your product. And when you have learned all that aspects, you can design around building your lean startup canvas by knowing the customer segment, at the bottom, to learning about the problem that are existing in the market and their alternatives, to learning about how you can generate the revenue by building around the product through that solutions, followed by the unique value proposition, the channels that you will use to reach out to that customers, the metrics that you will get by exercising BML, and the cost structures which may be fixed and variable for a product and a business to run around. And this will give you a fair idea of the unfair advantage in the market, and to learn around a product that has to be launched and taking utmost care of the needs and wants of the market. The 5 key takeaways that you could learn from lean startup and a minimum viable product. It is all about the process of developing a product or company on the expressed desires of the market. It's all designed upon validated learning through market researches and knowing and assessing the consumer's interest. It is a method which is heavily focused on customer related informations on which customers generate, lifetime of the customer value, and the product popularity are much vital parts of the or the elements of the lean startup canvas. And it's all about experimentation rather than adherence to a rigid plan. It's all about standards that involve release of small forms or the early concept of your product, and to assess the customer reactions and work around exercising the build, measure, learn, and featuring your product, making necessary changes based on the learnings and the outcomes of the market. Hope I was been able to enlighten you onto lean startup and minimum viable product, and the house is now open for any queries. Thank you all for your time and attention. Over to the host for taking it ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to guide our students. And you have explained in detail about the lean startup requirements, build, measure, and learn simple steps, and how to build minimum viable product and measuring success after building. Hope all our students keep the 5 key takeaways of lean startup and do the work. Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and perspective. Were truly valuable. It was a pleasure to listen, and our students has a very valuable learning experience, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable session.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, the convener, organizers, and thank you. Many thanks to principal sir for the opportunity. And at last, thank you all the patient participants for having me here and listening patiently to the sessions. Thank you all.
Thank you. All the participants can leave the session now.